In Korea, fans can kill you.
믿어.
왜?
나도 그랬죠. 옛날에 뉴스에 노상 나와서 난 지금도 선풍기 틀고 잘 때 문 열고 자. 죽을까봐.
Fan death is a Korean belief that sleeping with the fan on in an enclosed room can cause extreme health issues and even death.
이제 숨 차니까 빨리 일어나야 돼 라고 하는 걸 갖다가 깨닫지 못하고
경찰은 선풍기 바람을 사망 원인으로 지목했습니다.
It's a great day. It's a super day. That was a video clip about the South Korean obsession with deaths caused by sleeping with a fan. What you find is, until very recently, and even still mostly recently, the South Koreans, including the doctors and the elites and the intelligentsia of society, believed that if you sleep with a fan on, you will die. And again, these were doctors and elites. These were people who were smart. They would do news broadcasts on how sleeping with a fan on can be fatal. That's completely crazy. But to them, it's reality. And I thought to do a video on this because it is just one of 100,000 examples of where we can say that we feel like we know something when in reality we're just deluding ourselves. We're so surrounded by elitism, we're so surrounded by men worship and by claims of authority, and now that we live in the age of the internet, everybody has a voice, like me, and you can get out there and just put anything you want out there. But that, of course, shows the self-destruction of the whole process of integrity and everything else. And so the more we look around, we find that we're not only wrong, just like our friends the South Koreans, but we're hopelessly wrong and self-deceived. And if you think about it, you and I are monsters. It's really humbling because we have indoor plumbing. Some places in the world see that as a great evil. They see that as an evil of the West because they live in countries where water is scarce. And how dare you, sitting over here in nice America, waste water by taking 20-minute showers and having flushing toilets. That's evil in many parts of the world. You're a monster. How dare you eat flesh food? And of course, the vegans are right. Ultimately, flesh food will be done away with. It will be seen as slavery. Pets, same thing. There will be no such thing. But of course, you can't be too harsh because everything has its time and place in society. And we don't go back and blame slave owners for owning slaves because that was the economy. That was the world at the time. And it's taken a long time to realize that we are monsters. We're monsters. And yet every day, we live our lives in the reassurance that when we get up, we're going to do more good than bad. So that even despite our imperfections, we're going to be good people and we're going to do the best that we can. That has to be good enough. That has to be good enough. Otherwise, you really are a monster. You really are terrible if you can't do more good than bad. So, all Dr. McGregor has to do is get online and tell people that turmeric is best absorbed when you consume black pepper. And just because he said it, it's going to pop up on every other channel, and they're going to repeat it, and they're going to cite whatever study he references from PubMed, and they're going to say, yeah, it's been proven. I feel better when I eat turmeric with pepper. Whereas if that was never mentioned, nobody would know the difference. We are so self-deceived, and we can see this because people like Richard Overton, who just died at 112 years old, he died, and if you look at his diet, ice cream, Dr. Pepper, coffee, normal smoking. His diet wasn't anything special. I got the new iPhone here and my arms are getting tired. This one's a little heavier than the iPhone 7 I traded up from. My arms getting tired extra fast. This guy died at 112 years old. He just said to keep a low stress life. Now, how does someone who eats fruits and veggies live a normal life, and somebody who eats an average diet lives to 112? How does that work? Well, you can sit there and argue anecdotes and you can say, well, this isn't typical. But ultimately, like the old woman I knew from Hillsboro, Texas years ago, she died at around 110, smoked like a chimney right up until she died. No special diet, nothing. She just lived, and then she died in her sleep. Her daughter-in-law came over and found her and came across the yard running to me. Said, Joe, she's gone. Bonnie's gone. I said, I'm sure sorry. We went over there. She was happily in her sleep. How does that happen? And somebody else lives to 84. Well, I can tell you how, but it's not a flattering reason. It has nothing to do with how you eat. It has nothing to do whether or not you're a carnivore or a paleo person or a vegan person. It has nothing to do with a lot of things, but it has everything to do with the fact that you have a rhythm and you can keep going from one day to the next. So it's like we said, if you can live your life happily and you have a rhythm and you have a sense of satisfaction and you are able to get up and say, I've done well today, I've done my best, then that's all that matters. And it no longer matters if ice cream is healthy for you, or if it's really bad for you, or if chia seeds your body can absorb or can't absorb. If you get to sit down to that meal with whatever it is you like and you enjoy it, you eat it, and then you stay remotely active and you don't overeat, you eat once a day, ideally, or even more than that if you have a rhythm and you're burning off your calories properly. If you do that, you're going to live as long as you can live. And best part of it all, you're going to be able to think of things that are not related to diet. That's the best thing, and the thing I hope that you have learned from this channel. One of the biggest things is that you should not think too much about all of this stuff. That's what I keep saying, and people sometimes get mad at me and they say, don't talk too much philosophy. Just talk about OMAD. Well, if I do that, then you'll miss the point. The point is that you shouldn't have to talk too much about it. That's how you know you're being successful, because other parts of your life are coming into view. You're becoming stronger as an individual. You're beating your addictions. You're beating your hang-ups. You have more time, less time for eating and more time for family, more time for work, more time for self-improvement, maybe a little bit of activity and exercise if it works for you. Do you see now what I've tried to stress? What I have tried to emphasize? You're not a monster. Probably. If you're watching this, you're probably not. You're probably in some way aimed toward betterment. Otherwise, why the heck are you here? But if you're aiming toward betterment, that's the catch. It's the fact that you even think about it, which means you've really already won. You can't think too much, or you're going the opposite way. You're starting to push into bad territory, or unproductive feudal territory. So anything can be right or wrong. Just like our friends the South Koreans who find evidence for death by fans. Their experts are testifying and putting together complex reasoning to justify something that to them is a reality. Do you see why truth is, by definition, elusive? It's because the truth is nothing. It's just your ability to live your life makes time go by quicker, which creates less stress, which creates a better life, which creates happiness. And that's your best shot at living long and being happy. Quit striving to know truth. Quit striving to have bragging rights for, "Ooh, I'm right and you're wrong." It's all so futile. It doesn't make any difference. at the end of the day, I get to walk just before this thunderstorm gets here. I love thunderstorms, and I can't wait for it to light us up here. But I'm more or less testing out this camera. All right, I'll see you later.